Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Messenger podcast. This will be the first episode I have with a guest, and definitely honored to have my cousin who I grew up with. And in fact, we're actually at my grandmother's house right now. And so we both grew up here from our early upbringings. And so this is your first time joining with us. My name is Malachi Burden. I'm the host of the Messenger podcast. And really, essentially, the podcast is really to help people get their message out. We all have gone through trials and tribulations in life, and we all have tests. And with tests, we all have testimonies. And a lot of times, we were never given a space or a platform or even have been empowered to give our message out for the world who needs to hear it. Sometimes we need to hear it for ourselves to give us that freedom, empowerment, and freedom, and just the love that we need to move on in life. And so,
Yeah,
without further ado, just like to welcome my cousin Elijah. Just want to introduce yourself.
yeah. So my name's Elijah. Artist name is Eli Set Apart. I'm a gospel artist. So, um, yeah. Happy to be on the pod for sure.
Yeah, man. So, you know, I know a little about your story, but why don't you just kind of give us a background of uh, your childhood? What was it like growing up here, and you just your early beginnings?
Yep. So, um, yeah, I'm from here. Grew up here, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. My mom, when I was 10 months, my mom gave me over to my grandparents, which is what led me to grow up here, and then yeah, didn't know my dad growing up either. That came on later in life. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. I'm definitely blessed. Definitely blessed. Yeah.
Yeah. So he mentioned you are in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Yeah.
So there are black people.
There's black people here.
There are black people out here.
Ah,
We're probably the first ones I met from South Dakota, let alone
yeah.
black people from South Dakota. So
Fact.
this is where we're at right now. Like I said, this is our grandparents' house. So
Yeah.
um, during the summer times, I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, but in the summer times, I will come out here for the whole summer. So we grew up a lot during elementary school and middle school up through high school, really. And so, you mentioned your father and your mother, and so was living with your grandparents as your legal parent, legal guardians, and not knowing your father. How was that growing up? How did that really affect you as a kid?
Yeah. It had a big effect on me, like because I didn't I wasn't raised by my mother, my biological mother, and I didn't know who my dad was. So like I had parental figures with my grandparents, but just not knowing like who my dad was, and then just like the whole like just rejection issues from the biological parent um situation. Yeah, I was acting up in school and stuff like that. Definitely was a hothead growing up, and like losing my temper a lot and stuff. So um yeah, had a big effect on me for sure.
Yeah. Would you say the the family dynamic or how you grew up change or alter your view of what manhood looks like, what fatherhood looks like? How to be a man. How to act certain ways, how to tie a tie, how to tie your shoes. How to treat women, things like that. I know you grew up with a grandfather. He was a
Yeah,
good father figure, but
yeah.
were there other challenges that just not having that dad in your life that?
Yeah, yeah. Because Papa was present. Like he was, my grandpa. He was present. But there was stuff that I had to learn on my own. Stuff that we didn't talk about. Like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. Like talking to girls and like just how to conduct yourself in certain situations and stuff like that. Not that he didn't teach me anything, but there was a lot of stuff I had to learn on my own. You know what I'm saying. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And growing up, we were pretty much forced and dragged out the house to go to church. But
Yeah.
at what point did you really start to see that shift that God really became like a central part in your life?
Um, at what point did I see a shift?
Yeah, like when
Yeah.
did you really start? Like instead of like you're going because you're forced to go, now like you
Yeah.
go because you want to go,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. So when I was like 16, 17, um, because I was definitely getting dragged like early on for most of my childhood. It wasn't my choice to go. But yeah, when I was like 17, 18, is when I started actually feeling like the Lord was talking to me through sermons and stuff like that, and I actually was like, dang, maybe God's real. So yeah, about 17, 18 is when I like wanted to start going, like just because I wanted to go.
Yeah. So, and you mentioned, our past having getting dragged to church.
Yeah,
Do you feel like that had like a big influence
yeah,
becoming with God becoming central to you?
yeah, for sure. Cause the words say, grow or raise your kids in the path that they'll
Yeah.
go, and then that they should go, and then they won't depart from it. So um, yeah, I mean the word stands true in that standpoint. So I definitely feel like yeah, that was a big part. Grandma, she definitely like a super like prayer warrior too. So
Yeah.
um, all the prayers definitely have led me to be where I'm at now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, man. That's beautiful to hear.
yeah.
Was growing up, or even now, have you ever struggled with the God as a father, and then you growing up without a father, right?
Yeah,
Was there ever that uh, confusion or difficulty understanding, or just like this doesn't really make sense, or how you see God as a father? Like, did that ever come about?
yep. Because how you view God as a father is it derives from how your earthly father was usually like just us as humans, like we depict God as however our earthly father was. So um yeah, just not being around mine and not knowing mine. Like, granted, I did have a father figure, but my biological father wasn't in the picture at the time. So how I viewed God was kind of like, because rejection issues just cause you to, it causes like performative behaviors and wanting to like have to earn and like prove yourself all the time, and like earn people's respect and love and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's how I was with God too. I'm like, okay, I gotta earn it. I didn't look at it from like a grace side or like, a mercy side of it. Like, there's nothing I could do to earn it, but I felt, just because of my situation that I had to earn it. So
Yeah, no,
yeah,
that makes perfect sense. And a lot of men struggle with that,
yeah,
but they didn't have fathers in their lives. And you start reading the scriptures, and you start reading like, God is our father. He
yeah,
calls us son. He calls us daughter. He loves us. Sometimes there's a lot of men out there that've never uh, been told, I love you from their dad,
yeah,
right? Or never been even called son, or even never even met their dad.
yeah.
Um, or mom. And so that struggle is real, for sure. I can attest to it to a little bit with my family dynamic growing up, and I'll talk a little bit more deeper about that in a future episode, and I'll give some hints and some insight in this episode. But that's so true, man. Was there a point in your life, we've talked about this? Um, I believe you talked about like 2022 was a big turning point for you.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that, and then also talk about when you got kicked out the house.
Hmm. Yeah. So, um, yeah, 2022. Well, I'll just start with me getting kicked out. So yeah, graduated 2017, and yeah, I didn't want to go to college right away because I didn't know what I wanted to do. So my grandma was like, if you're not going to school, then you need to be working and paying rent like right away. So I graduated in June, July 1st. Needed, what I'm saying, had to start paying rent. So was paying rent, got a job. I was working at like Five Guys or something like, yeah, Five Guys, and then was working there, and yeah, I ended up like getting fired, and she was like, it's like October-ish. Yeah, it's like October at this point. She's like, you need to have rent money by November 1st, or at least a job by November 1st. If I didn't have rent but I had a job, she's gonna give me grace. But November 1st, I had to have at least one of the two. So yeah, she warned me and everything. November 1st came around, I didn't have a rent or a job.
Yeah.
So she said, you gotta go. So yeah, it was. I'm glad it happened. Like, it was, in the moment, it's all these emotions. Like, why would she do that? It was winter time. You know what I'm saying? November 1st, she kicked me out. So cold out and stuff like that. And yeah, I was house hopping for a little bit, and then I ran out of houses to go to, so I was at a homeless shelter for a little while, and like, yeah, it was hard, but I'm glad though that it happened because like I was on some like no ambition. I was lazy. You feel me? Like not
Yeah.
handling business, and it like it made me more mature, like way more mature. And it's crazy too, though. I didn't say this the last time, but it's crazy because like even though I was homeless, you know what I'm saying, and she kicked me out on Sunday morning, she had picked me up from wherever I was at, take me to church at least, and then she
Yeah.
had dropped me off wherever I was at. You know what I'm saying? Wherever she picked me up from, she had dropped me back off there, but she made sure I went to church though. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
No,
Yeah, yeah,
that's powerful. And it gives some context, our grandmother, she's done this with all the kids. All her kids, all her grandkids.
yeah,
And I believe it's really helped everyone in the family. Sometimes some families allow their kids to stay rent free, but um, we're not the richest family. We're well off. We're not in poverty or anything. But it was just a principle. My grandmother does not believe in laziness at all.
yeah,
And so it's just a principle of how to steward your money, how to become more mature as an adult, how to manage your finances.
yeah,
And we all can attest that has helped us all tremendously. Like I said, in the moment, it's like, bro,
yeah. Nah,
feel
fact.
like you tripping. But
Yeah,
especially when you have other friends who live in rent free in their family's houses. But
yeah,
for us, it really, how to manage your finances, how to budget, how to prioritize where your money's going. Are you just spending all your money going out to bars, clubs, video games, shoes, or are you saving it? Are you investing it? Are you putting it towards school or your future, or are you saving up for more professional clothing for work, or work clothes, or work development, or college, or books, or things like that? And so, um, it so we all can attest that it has helped us in that regard to give some context to the situation.
yeah.
Um, what was the other turning point you kind of mentioned the last time we talked about in
Oh, yeah,
2022?
yeah, yeah. Forgot about that. So, yeah, 2022. Yeah, hit rock bottom. Finances was in the gutter. Like there's just a lot going on. Went through like 5 cars in 1 year. Um, yeah, it was all bad. I was like, my way's not working, evidently. So, feel me? Like gave God a shot, and then never. There was times before that though, in years prior, leading up to 2022, where I tried to walk with the Lord, but I didn't have no community. I didn't have my faith just wasn't strong enough at the time. I wasn't fully ready to give my life to the Lord, so I just was backsliding right away. All those other times, but 2022, yeah, I haven't turned back since then. So that was like when I actually took him serious.
Yeah, and I know we talked about it the other day. Talk a little bit about, we know this, but like for the people out there who maybe never experienced God, or are looking for a sign, or like God, if you or who maybe don't believe really in God, but it's like, God, if you're out there, I need a sign that
Yeah.
I'm not alone, that you're out there, that you're looking out for me. Talk about your situation in the car.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, I'm an intern at my church that I go to now in Minneapolis. That's where I live now. I've been up there for several years, like 8 years now. Um, But yeah, Creative Church. I'm an intern there, so I take pictures there. And I was leaving church one day, and when I'm taking pictures, I'm not able to fully engage in the sermon. So sometimes I have to like watch it online afterwards, and like it leads to burnout and stuff like that. Occasionally, I'm like, dang, I wish I got to sit in, but you know what I'm saying. I'm driving home, and I'm like, dang, I start praying. I'm like 2 minutes away from the house, and I start praying. I'm like, Lord, um, like I'm just exhausted, like struggling with the same like sins and stuff like that. Just I feel like I was just ready to I'm ready to move past like what I've been stuck in. I feel like I hit a wall, so I'm praying, and I'm really close to the house. So I get to the house, and it's like 9:30 at night. It's dark out, and I wanted to read my Bible before I went in my house. So my Bible was sitting on my passenger seat, and I grab it and I open it, not with no intention of like, no bookmark, no nothing. I just grab it, open it because I was about to read it. So set it in my lap, and then I pray and meditate before I read. I don't like just reading without doing nothing. So to get in the moment, I pray. I'm praying like this with my hands over my eyes, and 2 minutes go by. I get done, or whatever, um, and I uncover my eyes, and like I said, it's dark out. So there was a lamp, like a light, illuminating the parking lot, um, that was shining through my back window of my car, over my shoulder, and it lit up one verse and a half on my Bible. Like the whole rest of the Bible was dark, It was dark in the car. I would have had to turn the dome light on to be able to even read in there. Super dark, but just that verse and a half was illuminated, and I'll read it now. But it was basically an answer to what I was just complaining to God about, though. And yeah, Isaiah 41:10, and then half of 9. Let's see. Yeah, right here. You are my servant. I have chosen you and not cast you off. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand. And yeah, I'm started crying and all, like, cause it's crazy. Like, had I parked in a different parking spot, it would have been a different part of the Bible lit up. Or if I put my Bible on my other leg or a little bit further on my lap, like, it would have changed everything. Not to mention that it was a random page that I flipped to too. So just how everything had to line up
Yeah.
was definitely crazy. And I just was like, yeah, I just had my moment with the Lord. I'm getting it tatted and everything. It's over with now. I'm getting it tatted, bro.
Yeah, man, that's something that it can feel draining, especially if you're already in the church or already a believer. And sometimes we feel like we're just investing so much into the kingdom, into our communities,
Yeah,
into the church, into helping people. And but
yeah,
our life is falling apart, or we're
yeah,
struggling financially, or there's
yeah,
health issues or family issues, or maybe you got into a car accident, or you're going through a job issue, maybe got laid off, and life's been really tough the last couple of years since 2019, 2020, and so for a lot of people, and so that verse, when you read that to me, I was like, God, it gave me chills. But just God will give you those reminders when you need them, bro.
when
And
you
that's what He
need them,
says. He
yeah.
says, draw close to Him, and He'll draw close to you.
Hmm.
And He says, seek Him, right? And we see that throughout the scriptures. A lot of these biblical figures, biblical superheroes, if you will, they just kept seeking after God in all the trials and tribulations, putting Him first, and really just
Yeah,
pouring their heart out. And that's something that, as men, we need to learn how to do,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so, how have you really seen a shift in your emotional health, like be more vulnerable and opening up and um, talking to other guys or your pastors or even our grandma, like just getting your emotions out and like processing them and all that.
Yeah, yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Just since coming to the Lord, yeah, it's just been super uplifting and helped me with a lot of stuff. So yeah, sure.
Yeah, so how would you, um, going back to your father, how's that relationship today? Like, have y'all reconnected, or y'all cordial, y'all talk sparingly? Like, how was
Yeah,
that?
yeah. No, he cool, bro. We don't. It's not like a typical father son relationship, obviously though.
Yeah,
But like, yeah, he cool, bro. Like when I come down here, you know what I'm saying. Sometimes I'll hang out with him and stuff like that. You know
yeah,
what I mean? We still getting to know each other right now, so you know what I mean. Like, but yeah, he cool though for sure.
yeah. So are are you cool with that side of the family too? Like y'all
Yeah,
hang out, so like I said, in that process, still getting to know each other and things like
yeah,
that. And
yeah. I found out I had a whole 5 extra siblings on his side, so um, yeah, we're getting to know each other now. I met him when I was 20, 22, so I found out he was my pops when I was 20. Um, I had like my auntie and my uncle, like they had reached out to me like, we think you might be Sammy's son, whoopty whoop whoop. Like if you're our blood, you need to be around us. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So that kind of is like what initiated it. But yeah, Sammy was locked up at the time. My pops was locked up at the time, so I took the test with his mom, my grandmother, and yeah, it turns out that she was my grandma. So like 2 years later, he ended up getting out, and then I met him, yeah, when I was 22, and then he ended up like getting locked up again shortly after that. So he
yeah,
hasn't been out a whole lot since I've known he was my pops, but yeah, we're definitely like we're working towards it though.
yeah, yeah. So what would you say to the people out there who maybe grew up in a single parent household, or maybe grew up with their grandparents as their legal guardians, or grew up without a father, or like the other parent present? What would you what would you say to that person? Or maybe there's someone out there who doesn't want to reconnect or is thinking about reconnecting, or they're on that fence of like, should I not? Like, what would you say to that person that's watching this?
Yeah, just reach out, bro. Like you don't gotta be overly friends with him afterwards, bro, or like be super close or try to make amends. But just knowing, because like, in my situation, like some people, their dad's not present, but they at least know who their dad is. Like me, I didn't even. It was between two dudes. Like my whole life, a test was never done when I was a baby, so like nobody in my family knew for sure, 100% certain. So until I was that big age of 22. So
Yeah,
um, yeah. Like at least knowing, because as a man, you want to know like where you get your mannerisms from and stuff like that. And yeah, just know, just for the closure side of things. Like I said, you don't gotta like be trying to overly make amends or like be best friends with them afterwards. But yeah, bro, just reach out and just get that closure at bare minimum. So
yeah, yeah. And I can attest, we have somewhat similar experiences. You know, my dad's been locked up my entire life, but I grew up thinking my stepdad was my biological dad until, for various reasons, there's a lot going on in the family at the time, and it was too much trauma for me to know at the time. And so things just kept happening, which delayed the process. And so I don't want anyone out there to like attack my mom or anything like that. But when I found out in high school, I didn't reach out to him. Right, I'm like, I'm good. I don't need that. I don't need to know. He was locked up, so I'm like, good. Another, you know, deadbeat dad, out there. So the stepdad I grew up with was absent as well after my parents divorced when I was a kid. So, but when I turned 25, I kind of hit my rock bottom, or another rock bottom. I feel like we hit multiple rock bottoms in life, and I realized like that hole, that void in me, that father wound, was really a root cause of all the anger and pain and uh, why I was acting out all the time. And so, but like I said, like you don't gotta be overly friendly and do all this extra stuff because at the end of the day, you can't change the person. Um, you know, we had a conversation before this, but when I made a decision to reach out to both my dads for forgiveness or to forgive them, I remember our grandmother, telling us that don't have expectations for them to change or for them to be sorry or or to ask for my forgiveness or for them to change, right? And it was so true because the dad that I grew up with, my stepdad, he wasn't sorry in the beginning when I forgave him. In fact, he actually told me to get over it, all the stuff that had happened and initially in that conversation. Since then, he has apologized. But my dad, who was locked up at the time, when I reached out to him and I called him on the jail phone, super sorry, wanted to get in my life, get involved in my life from the jump. Wanted to ask like how I grew up. He wanted to see pictures of me in high school, college. He asked what girls I was dating, how my brother was, what my interests are, how I dress, all of that. And so two different dynamics. And now I have a more healthy relationship, and we're actually a lot more cordial and friendly than the dad that I grew up with. And so but that wound, once I forgave both of them, all that pain, that anger, all that just fell off my shoulders. Now there are some days that are easier than others. There's sometimes I may get triggered from watching a movie or a TV show when there's a father-son dynamic, but um, that subconscious isn't controlling me no more. Of like, where was my dad, or who is my dad, or why is my dad in my life? Remember, there's a time where in high school I was a senior wrestling, and I was 28-1 during the regular season, and the only match I lost that season was when my dad said he'll come to my match. He's never seen me wrestle before, and that he never showed up, and so mentally I was just not in it, and I lost, and I realized at that time that this man is still controlling me subconsciously, and there's gonna become a point in time where I need to forgive him to move on, and we'll talk about forgiveness on another future episode because it's a big topic that especially a lot of men struggle with, um, and women as well. But we're men here in this conversation. But going back to you, with your faith, your walk, what's one truth or what's one thing you wholeheartedly believe about God? We talked about these yesterday.
yeah,
That someone said, what is God like, or why should I believe in God, or how has God impacted you? What would you say?
yeah. The word I used um, that really resonates with me for God is present, because
Mm,
it's super easy to feel like God is some distant being that's like somewhat of a father figure that might help you occasionally, you know what I'm saying? That you just like send your request to and hope he answers. Like it seems like God is like that until you like fully sometimes you looking too hard and miss him. Like he's present always. So um yeah, present. I would say that God is present. And there's my upbringing was very painful. Um just, with my biological parents, both of them not you know like just the rejection issues from both sides, but I can see God's hand in all of it though, looking back though, and I
Hmm.
didn't at the time, but God is present, and he's working when you don't see it, so
Yeah.
present.
Jesus says, right now we don't know what he's doing or what the plan is, but
Yeah,
one day we'll know.
one day we'll know.
And
Yeah,
so, if you could go back to your 10-year-old self, your high school self, your middle school self, what would be one word, like what would you say to that young Elijah, like, when he's going through it, right? And
yeah,
you realize, that there's hope, there's hope on the other side, there's peace, there's happiness, there's joy on the other side. If you just trust in God, like what would you say to that younger
yeah,
Elijah?
yeah. I would tell him a bunch of stuff for real, because I was just a knucklehead, and even now sometimes I have to learn stuff the hard way, bro. Like more often than I would like to admit. So yeah, if I was able to tell my younger self one main thing, if I had to pick one, I'm telling him to um just like lock in with God, like now, like because I do wish that um I was locked in with God sooner. Like I definitely like I was 23 when I fully started taking him serious, which isn't old, but you know the sooner the better though too.
Yeah,
So yeah, like because I just was there's a lot of I wasn't even thinking about God back then. So if I could tell my younger self, I would definitely say like, man, just like God is real and it's the God of the Bible. So like get right now.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
bro. And so, um, you're into music, and so what's a word for people out there that who are the creatives out there who like fashion, music, the arts,
yeah,
um, who really don't know where to start or navigate, or don't feel like the art side, the creative side, can mesh with the Bible, with Christianity, with God? What would
yeah.
you say to those people out there?
That's not true at all. Um, yeah, especially like the church is evolving too. Like there's a lot of people that come from like urban backgrounds and stuff like that. That are big in the church, or have given their life to God, and they're doing a lot of stuff like for the kingdom that look just like me and him, like, or whoever. Like they like clothes, so they dress a certain way that isn't common to, or isn't what you would expect in the church. But um, yeah, how church is now, all you gotta do is walk into a church and you'll see people that's dressed, you know, like like anybody else that isn't in
Yeah,
church. So
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely, bro. Let's go wrap up this podcast, man. What's one message you want to leave everybody with?
yeah. Just like I know, when it comes to God, there's doubts. I still have my doubts to this day. Um, but just give God a chance, though. Like like you probably tried everything else. So, and like I said, I wish I did this sooner. So, just do it now. Like if you don't got a Bible, get you a Bible. Like and just give God a try, bro. Like I promise you, He'll reveal Himself to you. So, um, yeah, just give the Lord a shot. So,
Yeah, man. There's one thing that I like to tell everybody. Our life is blessed with a finite number of pages. Like, there's a certain amount of pages in this book,
yeah, yeah,
but we have an infinite number of chapters.
yeah,
And if you give God a chance, you'll see you can create as many chapters as you need to, bro. You can
yeah,
make all the mistakes in the world. May not have the best family growing up.
yeah,
You may run into poverty or homelessness or addiction or whatever it is, depression, whatever it is. But if you give God a chance, there's a lot more chapters in your book,
yeah, yeah,
right, bro?
yeah,
So we'll close out, man. Tell the people your social media handle and where to
yeah,
find you out and your music and all that. And
yeah, yeah. So on IG it's Eli set apart, Eli with two eyes, no underscores or periods or anything like that. And then yeah, Apple Music, Spotify, same thing. Eli with two eyes set apart. Um, yeah, that's where you'll find my music and stuff at too. So
Well, thank you, Elijah, for
Yeah.
hopping on the podcast. And this is the Messenger Podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Like I said in the very beginning, my name is Malachi Burden. You can find me at Malachi Burden _ and all social media handles to find more content like this. And if you like today's episode, please follow, share, like, subscribe, post, and thank you, Elijah, for the opportunity to interview you. And I'm pretty sure we'll have more conversations in the future, bro.
Yeah,
Best of
yeah.
luck to you with your music.
I appreciate it.
Not luck, blessings to you. You know,
Yeah.
we believe in God, so
Yeah.
I ain't no coincidences out there, bro.
Not at
Everything
all.
is divine timing and
At
divine
all.
intervention, bro. Well, I love you, bro, and
You too.
definitely thankful and grateful to know you and growing up with you, and definitely proud of you of the man you're becoming to be and where you are right now.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Stay tuned.